What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman, aka All Fires. With Marvel's confirmation that they will be soft rebooting the MCU after Avengers Secret Wars, the years of speculation that have gone on at YouTube channels like mine has been somewhat correct. The MCU will not look the same as it did before Avengers Secret Wars. Lots of recasts, but lots of original characters and a whole new continuity, which Kevin Feige referred to as singular timelines, plural. However, none of us speculated that it would go down the way that an industry insider has indicated recently, with new details about the Marvel reboot and how it's set to erase the current continuity of the MCU. We're going to talk about exactly what he said and what the implication here is, and the real risk Marvel Studios is running by actually doing a soft reboot in this specific way. But first, if you could grab the subscribe button, we do daily Marvel content at the channel. Thanks to everyone who's been subbing recently. If you haven't already, we just kindly invite you to do so. Number one thing you can do to support the channel, plus it enters you for the giveaways. Stick around at the end of the video. We get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Okay, so this is the latest according to industry insider Alex Perez. He's a writer and editor over at the editorial The Cosmic Circus, which has been a mainstay in the Marvel conversation and the source of a lot of scoops over the last 2 or 3 years. He indicated in one of his most recent updates that, quote, multiple dead heroes and villains will be brought back after Avengers Secret Wars due to the reset causing past events to happen differently. Now, the implications here are huge on a lot of levels, but let's just talk about the obvious one. They are actually going to change the past events of not only the Multiverse Saga, but the Infinity Saga. That's where we lost a lot of heroes and villains, say like Thanos. And now, because things will have happened differently after Avengers Secret Wars, we'll have a new continuity where some of those dead heroes and villains will still be a part of the story. I think this is really risky from a fan's point of view to take the canon that is the Infinity Saga, some of the most sacred and best canon Marvel has, and now change it because they're going to have new consequences of what happens in Avengers Secret Wars. We knew the MCU was going to be rewritten after Secret Wars, probably with the help of Franklin Richards, into something new. We already talked about ways that that could happen, but I never guessed that they would actually want to involve the Infinity Saga's events and rewrite those as past history going forward, or make it so that some of that stuff didn't happen. They're not mutually inclusive. You can have one without the other. Huge consequences for Avengers Secret Wars, but going forward and not undoing the Infinity Saga. And of course, people will argue that the Infinity Saga is the reason we are where we are now. During the events of Avengers Endgame, Loki gets the Tesseract, runs into the TVA, and it's that exact variant that sits at the center of the multiverse now instead of the Loom. So major consequences have already tied these two sagas together, but it's exactly that sort of nuance and causality that makes a story worth telling, and that the Russos were able to so skillfully put on display during Avengers Endgame, where all the callbacks and Easter eggs to the rest of the Infinity Saga during that film actually meant something for the narrative's sake, weren't just there as a callback alone. And so if you go and undo that and you erase it in terms of it's not the way it actually happened this way, and then we have a Thanos and a Scarlet Witch and everyone remembers Peter Parker, and the list goes on. But as you say it out loud, it seems even more weird again to undo all of the consequences of these events, 20 years worth of movies, just in service of how you want to go forward. Now, the reason for why Marvel Studios is doing this is very, very clear. We've been talking about it at the channel for years. You're about to enter the next phase for Marvel in Phase 7, but really a whole new era that includes a recast for brand new X-Men in the MCU. And it is precisely the killing off of major characters like Thanos or Scarlet Witch or Tony Stark that will leave the X-Men in the exact same place at Marvel and Disney that they were with Fox, isolated in an MCU that has now moved past a lot of the characters that we dreamed of seeing the X-Men team up with. And the truth is that in order for Marvel Studios to actually cash in on buying the X-Men IP, having the full host of their characters only works when they use the full host of their characters. That's why Kevin Feige alluded to a recast for Tony Stark and Steve Rogers, but you don't need to recast all of these characters. And I keep coming back to Thanos as a prime example. Of course you want him in the MCU. We've got everybody here now. You've killed off characters like Quicksilver. You've killed off characters like Scarlet Witch. Yeah, we want them in the MCU. Scarlet Witch has so many stories that intersect with the X-Men. You killed off Tony Stark, and while Robert Downey Jr. may be back as Dr. Doom, of course we want an Iron Man in the MCU alongside the X-Men. We want to see all of these characters in the same place. That's been the ultimate dream. And so one of the ways Marvel can do this and sort of explain why, say, Josh Brolin's Thanos is back or Scarlet Witch never died in the first place, is have Avengers Secret Wars undo that continuity as if those events never happened. And that's how we move forward with singular timelines, again plural, knowing that there will still be a multiverse in the MCU, but they'll be self-contained so that we don't have to worry about the multivariants of it all. And when we go forward with a brand new saga with the X-Men, it'll just pertain to that plane of existence, the 616, not all the other timelines as well. Now, what this exactly means for every other character specifically, I don't think we're going to see the ramifications of that for quite some time after Avengers Secret Wars, although I charge Marvel to actually figure it out instead of just leave it for down the road. What I'm specifically saying here is that when Avengers Secret Wars comes to an end, they're not going to show us the whole MCU from bird's eye view and what that looks like with the conclusion of that film. It's going to have to play out after the next saga. So could there be a Tony Stark immediately lurking somewhere in this new continuity, but we may not be introduced to him for several years? Yeah, of course, but this is what I mean by Marvel. Go ahead and figure that out now. Don't just try to figure it out after the fact, like most of what the Multiverse saga felt like. And shoot, if you got to take a year or two off, do it. That's what Marvel probably should have done after Avengers Endgame. And look, the machine is way too big. Disney and Marvel, even without Bob Chapek forcing them to do every character in a Marvel TV show, they need to keep churning. There have been reports that Bob Iger was disappointed that there was only Deadpool that one year, and that next year may only be Avengers Doomsday outside of Spider-Man Brand New Day. They want Marvel to put out at least 2 movies a year, if not more, but still take the time you need instead of rushing it, especially considering this is going to be the big reset. Marvel Studios might not have another one of these, so even if they go for another 20 years with Avengers Secret Wars 2, like, that is really, really ambitious thinking for the superhero genre. The point I'm making is you have a huge opportunity here to put all your ducks back in a row. Don't just wing it. Figure it out. Take as much time as you need, but know what you're going to do moving forward, because obviously if they screw this up, they're not getting this chance back, not for a long, long time. You guys let me know all your thoughts though down below. Which characters should return? Which characters should stay gone the way that they did? And do you agree with me that basically overwriting the Infinity Saga might not be the best idea? I'm all ears as always. Quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. Alright, still giving away PS5s at the channel, plus a host of giveaways when we hit the holiday season. Super simple to be entered to win. Just be a sub, leave a comment down below. We will always announce all of the winners at the end of videos, so please be safe and vigilant across YouTube. Make sure you hit that notification bell with all notifications turned on to keep up with the videos. And of course, if you like today's video, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the like button. My name's Michael Roman. Find me on Instagram and Twitter at IamFires. Find me on all other platforms under the name All Fires with original music, including the song in the background. To those of you who've already supported me at my music, thank you so much. If you haven't already, hey, maybe click on it. Or don't. It doesn't matter. See you in the next video. Peace.